Okay, secondary benefits. So again, what are the top lifestyle changes? Let's move to the first one, exercise. Here's a quote from the Harvard Mental Health Letter. Aerobic exercise is, quotes, a healthful, inexpensive, and insufficiently used treatment for a variety of psychiatric disorders. That was written about 5 years ago. It's way clear now that that's an understatement, if anything. So what are the benefits of exercise? Well, exercise has both preventive and therapeutic effects. It's preventive for depressive disorders, for anxiety disorders, and for a variety of cognitive losses. It's therapeutic for a variety of disorders, depression, anxiety being the most researched, addictions, chronic pain, even some symptoms of schizophrenia. What are the cognitive gains from exercise? Well, they extend across the lifespan, from increased academic performance in kids to reduced risk of cognitive loss and memory loss in the elderly, and a reduction in Alzheimer's disease, and also others such as Parkinsonism, and quite possibly some others as well. Now, for the elderly, exercise offers 4 kinds of good news. First, it seems to work with all populations that have been investigated to date, even people who already have onset Alzheimer's, early stage Alzheimer's. These people improve. They're not cured, of course, but they do improve. The effects can be quite large. There's up to a 45% reduced risk of Alzheimer's in people with a regular exercise program. That's a huge reduction. Remember, we are talking about millions and millions of people in this country alone with an epidemic washing on our shores in the future. Very, very fortunately, the improvements extend across multiple mental functions, all the way from simple psychomotor functions up to executive functions like planning, coordination, etc. And that is doubly good news, because it's the executive functions, the higher order cognitive capacities, which are most age sensitive, where the neural losses are most clearly evident, and where the reversal by exercise is most clearly evident. So these are 4 kinds of good news for the elderly in terms of exercise and its potential for both preventing and ameliorating age-related cognitive declines of various kinds. What kinds of exercise work? Well, both aerobic and weight training do it, and the combination seems to be even more effective. Benefits are apparent within a month, but they continue improving over 6 months. And here, this is one thing I was very disturbed to learn. You have to do at least 30 minutes per session, which was most upsetting. I had to increase the length of my walks and time, et cetera, et cetera. But apparently it seems like there's a threshold effect. And although there are all sorts of physical benefits and possibly mood benefits for shorter exercise periods, it seems like there's a threshold of about 30 minutes to really get cognitive gains. No one's clear why, but that data seems to be pretty clear. And contemporary research is substantiating the claim of John Adams, our second president, who said, "Old minds are like old horses. You must exercise them if you wish to keep them in working order." Okay, how does exercise do its thing? Well, there are we can look at neural, psychosomatic, physiological, psychological effects. At the neural level, there are multiple changes both in the cortex and the hippocampus being particularly interesting, where you get new neuron formation, increased neuronal interconnections, and neuronal preservation. So you've got both neurons being formed in the hippocampus, in the dentate gyrus area. You've got neurons being maintained, i.e. the death rate for neurons goes down. You've got increased interconnections, and you've got increased neurotrophic factors. Physiological factors include possible endorphin release, the so-called runner's high. At the psychosomatic level, one of the things I haven't seen in the literature, but I find an intriguing possibility myself, is the possibility of breaking down what's called muscular armor. As you know, over time, psychological conflicts and chronic issues get expressed as and kind of locked into muscular patterns, muscular tension patterns. That's one of the reasons massage can be so beneficial. A good masseuse can go in and, work with muscle tension patterns. It's a very intriguing thing that, they work on a particular area and an emotion floods up into the mind. They move one inch another direction. There's a different emotion flooding up with a different memory perhaps. And what you find as they release those muscle tension patterns is that seems to be experientially a simultaneous release of the corresponding psychological tensions. I have not seen this in the literature, but my own guess is this also plays a role with exercise. Certainly after you've exercised, you can feel the way the muscles are more loose and flexible. And psychologically, there are all sorts of factors such as increased self-esteem and self-efficacy.